Well, hello there again, friends and family. So glad to see you. And as you might notice, we're out in the focus again. We're going to be taking a little ride out in the countryside. And then we'll be discussing a few things that have come to mind, not only since my last video, which actually brought out a good point that I want to go over today, get it sort of off my chest and off my mind, as well as, just take you through an area you haven't been to. Show you that, not all Alabama's flat. And we're going to be heading on up north a ways to a place I used to go many times with my son. And that has a lot of good memories. It does. So I thought I'd take you all along with me. Now I do got to stop into the old banco for a minute, give them that old check order. With the right check number to start and all that. So I'm not going to bore you with that. So jump on in and buckle up, be good, and we'll get on with the ride in the countryside. I'll pick you all back up once we leave the bank. Okay? Well, y'all, as you can see, we're just leaving the old banco. Yep. We got that check order in right this time. Yep. Even had the right starting check number, we did. I should have had that always, but you know how it goes. So, now we can take a ride in the countryside. And you might be wondering where we're going. Well, we're going on up north. Well, we are here in a bit. Right now, we're sort of going kind of west. But it won't be here in a minute or two that we're going to be heading northbound. I thought it'd be nice. I mean, you've been up this way a little bit of the ways we're going today before. Some of you will recognize it. But then we really going to turn up north. We're going to travel along up the old Piedmont Plateau to the Appalachian foothills. Yeah, I mean, what y'all don't know, I'm right here on the edge, very end. Like I say, the last ridge top of the Appalachian foothills. And as y'all saw in that ride down by that old plantation house, we were down in the coastal plains, or coastal flats as they call them. We got it all here in Alabama. We got flatlands, we got rolling hills, we got ridges, we got hollers, just like they do up in Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia. Yeah, we do. We got them creeks, or creeks, I guess, depending on your locale. But along the way, I wanted to chat with y'all some. One thing in particular is something that I've seen disappear over the last few decades here in America. Yep, and it's become a detriment. And it's one of those things, I think, that leads to such divisiveness between Americans. But we'll be chatting about that as we head on up north. We're still in my little city right here, or town, or whatever you want to call it. And that. And it's a chilly, willy morning. It's only 9 o'clock right now. Well, 9:09 to be exact. On February the 8th, 2021. And you can see, we got a mostly clear sky. We got some of those there stratus clouds coming in from the west. Because they say after today we're going to have scattered showers for the next 2 days. And then rain pretty much for the next 2 or 3 days. Back to scattered showers for a day or two. So it's going to be pretty moist. And I had thought about doing a video out, walk about and talk about in the old yard as we were doing some things. But it's just too darn chilly to do that today. I woke up, it's 29, light breeze. I was shivering pretty hard when I was out feeding the kiddie crew this morning. Of course, as always, Speedy was right there, letting me know what she thought about things. Spooky winding in and out of my feet like he does. It's a wonder I don't fall over half the time. I had to call for Cleo. She was off with her boyfriend. Now, most of y'all saw Mr. Gray. Yeah, he don't get too close when I'm out. He waits till I go in the back door. Then he comes slinking around. Ooh, the lake looks beautiful today. That's Lake Tallapoosa or Thurlow Reservoir. Now, I did bring some bottled water today, nothing fancy. Some of that there Sam's Choice purified water. I don't get me none of that there Dome Perignon or Deerfield or Dasani, you know, like our government buys. I think they should have faith and drink tap water, don't you? They think it's good enough for us. It should be good enough for them. They used to drink it, you know, back in our day. You didn't see all those bottles of water all over their desk. All you saw was pictures of water. You know, if it ain't good enough for our politicians to drink, you would think it wasn't good enough for us, would you? Yeah, well, that's one of the changes here in America. What's good enough for them is all right and fine. That don't make it good enough for us. No. We have developed two classes in America, and our politicians aren't of the same class you and I are of. Nope. It's like I said, vast majority of them are millionaires, multi-millionaires, and beyond. They just can't relate to us little old regular people no more. But yeah, we're on Upper River Road, and we're heading on up sort of, I would say right at the moment this road meanders north to northwest. But at least the sun's out of y'all's eyes. Now, I'm giving you a beautiful sky. I mean, there are some wispy stratus clouds up there, but it's the best the old man can do today. And I wish there were some leaves on the trees, but there are on the evergreen ones. You know, you can see all the native hollies. You know, we got a lot of them down here. Oh, see that big bamboo patch off to the right. We got cedars. You know, eastern red cedars. We do. Used to have quite a few of them. Back during the Depression, they about logged them into extinction too. But that's another thing I'm sort of getting real tired of hearing about. That what we're going through now is worse than the Great Depression. And rightfully said, most of the people saying it are far too young to even remember the stories their parents or grandparents told. Well, their own parents didn't live through them. Grandparents may have came afterwards, so I guess we can't blame them for the misconceptions they have. But now, what we're going through now is rather bad, ain't no doubt. And for the most part, it's the worst thing to happen in most people's lives. Yep, this virus. But is it as bad as the Great Depression, Dust Bowl? And many of y'all older than me can verify that fact. Now, I didn't live it. But like I said, my parents, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents were all products of the Great Depression. My childhood, definitely, we lived like the Great Depression was still alive and well. We're po-po. Hell, I'm po-po now. And I'm darn proud of it. At least what I got's mine. Now, I ain't got nobody to thank for it. I work for every little stick and crumb and brick, board, and nail. It may not be much, but it's all mine. It's not the bank's, of course. You never get overpaying for it, because you got to pay them their property taxes, right? Crying shame. Got some pines there off on the right. Those look like loblolly. Every once in a while you'll see a native longleaf pine. Most people can't tell the difference, but the pine needles on the longleaf are, as described, longer. We're just cruising along, clearing our mind, getting our soul back right. You know, my last video, I thought that video would be entertaining, thought it'd be funny, and that. And yeah, I was poking some fun at my little brother, Les, from another mother down there. He lives in Texas now, but he ain't a born Texan. He's from Georgia. Yep. He's not a southwestern boy. He's one of us southeastern boys. Lord, y'all all know I'm not a born Alabamian or a born southerner. Like I always say, I'm a southerner boy by choice, and I have been for more time than most people that are born here have been here. Now, I love the South. I love the Southwest. Of course, not to say that I don't love the Northeast. I have many fond memories of my childhood up in the Northeast. New York State, Pennsylvania, yeah. A lot of good memories. A lot of good memories going back and visiting family while I still had some alive up there. And Lord knows I do, but we ain't close enough for me to drop in and say howdy. I got family all over the country, but we extremely distant family. You know what I mean? And this road here, it just sort of meanders. You know, it's relaxing, don't you think? Yeah, maybe more relaxing if old Mr. Tom would shut his mouth, right? But hence, it's my channel, and I brought water in case my throat gets dry. Oh, look at the donkeys over there. Might have missed them donkeys. They sure were cute out there sunning themselves in the pasture. I'm not sure what donkeys are good for, except people seem to love them a lot, especially on social media, those homesteading channels. I think they get them just for cuteness. But, you know, like I said, last video, I was poking fun there at my little brother, Les. And if you haven't seen his video of his live stream when he was trying to eat sardines and vanilla ice cream, he even had to put sprinkles on his. And he is just oohing and awing and yucking. I mean, Lord, it took him nearly 20 minutes to even take the first bite. I was surprised any of his ice cream was still left unmelted. Of course, not much was. So I thought, you know, by putting that video together, poke some fun at him, and that plus, you know, maybe some others would pick up the challenge on some of their channels and show their version, have some fun with it, you know. Hell, folks, there's all this crap going on in this country, in this world right now. My thought is, let's have some good old-fashioned entertainment. Get some grins and giggles going. I mean, any of us can sit here and talk about all the bad. Well, yeah, that's another funny part about social media. They badmouth the mainstream media for hyping everything up, sensationalizing everything from the weather to every social issue. And then what do? The exact same thing they accuse social media of. Why? Because it drives their viewer count up. I.e. then, it drives the moolah up. Well, we made it to Kent, didn't we? Now we're going up Red Hill Road, or Highway 229. State Highway. 229 North we are. And I think I only brought y'all up this way one time. When we was going up to Dadeville to get my tags up at the county courthouse, that's in Dadeville, and pay my property taxes. I paid online this year. You know, you got to pay a fee to pay online. They get you everywhere they can coming and going. But something I've noticed, and maybe y'all have noticed, there are many things that have just faded away in America. And in my mind, they've led to where we're at right now. Such division that we see now. And because of that video I put up yesterday, it reminded me of one that I haven't thought about in a long, long time, but I've seen it slowly erode away till we just don't have it no more. And you might say, well, what's that? Well, that's just a basic sense of humor. Yeah. I mean, there was a time in America when we had stand-up comedians. Oh, yeah. And they poked fun at social issues, at certain groups of people. Sort of made fun of people's shortcomings and that. Or, you know, idiosyncrasies, as you might say. You know, like how we Southerners talk. Stuff of that nature. You know, different foods, different ethnic groups like, or dislike, and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, back in the day, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, everybody, you know, they just got to laugh at it. It wasn't meant to be serious. But, oh my God. You poke fun at people now, they'll come at you with, you know, a hangman's noose and wanting to be lynching y'all. And that was sort of kind of what happened with the last video. There were some out there that were, you know, got quite upset about it. Thought it was disgusting. Thought I shouldn't have done that. They didn't see the humor in it. Some thought I shouldn't be picking on old Les. That wasn't right. Others, they didn't much care for old Mr. Tom having part of a glass of wine, albeit it was cheap wine. Didn't have much alcohol, some of that there sparkling wine. And I'd actually bought it for a recipe that I'm going to be doing this coming Sunday for my own enjoyment, I might add, and that's a chicken marsala Americana, as I call it. Now I ain't gonna call it chicken marsala because I'm not going to do it like they do it over in Italy, which, you know, if you ain't ever had the Italian version, I mean real, over in Italy, of their chicken marsala, woo, you ain't living. But hey, I can't do that justice like they do. I don't got the tomatoes, I don't got the mushrooms they have, and Lord knows I ain't got that marsala wine that they make over there, which I might add is rather tasty. So hence why I renamed mine years and years ago out of respect for them. Chicken marsala Americana. And I like to use apple wine for the sweetness. Plus it has just a touch of tartness in it. Oh yeah. And I change it up a little. Rather than use chicken breasts, which I find are a little dry, I use chicken thighs, boneless. You know how I am about them chicken thighs. That's where all the flavor is. Ooh, it is a great dish. Economical too. And then I have it with some, you know, pork pasta, spaghetti. And here we are, we up here in Redland, or Red Hill, excuse me, people. And that used to be their school right there. And I don't know about y'all, but you know, we have a really nice school building like that. And we replace it because, you know, other than it's historic, looks nice, well built, we say, well, maintenance and energy costs are way too high. But then what do? We keep it and make it into a senior center or community center. And we still got to do the maintenance. We still got to do the energy costs. It just astounds me. So what did we save? Actually nothing. In fact, we always acquire more debt. Well, here we are. We're going to head east on Highway 50. We are. Now I know that sun's probably right slap dab in y'all's eyes, because it is in mine. But we came up the ridges. Now we're gonna go back on down. And you can see it's pretty woodsy up here. Now we ain't too far from Lake Martin. Just to give y'all a hint where we at. In fact, we ain't all that far from Lake Martin Dam, which is sort of kind of where I'm going. I may show you the dam. How about that? I think that there rascal was built and finished in 1926. Hard to believe we're still using it, right? I can remember 20 years ago when nobody lived hardly up this way. All there was what they used to call fishing cabins and fishing camps. Yep. Now it's just chock full of people in their homes. They're expensive homes too, trust me. A little bitty shack up here will set you back $250,000. Anything nice, oh, I could never afford it. Now once upon a time, way back in the day, I had me a little piece of ground up here. But hard times came, and I had to let her go. It was bought and paid for. And I let it go for more than what I gave for it, so it wasn't a bad thing, and I needed the money at the time. Ooh, we better slow her down right here on this curve, plus we heading downhill steep we are. I doubt the camera picks it up. Yep. Here's where we're going to turn. Now, they say this is Cherokee Bluffs Dam hiking trail. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that once we get down there, because I'm real familiar with this particular area and all the surrounding area. Me and my son James, we've walked about every square foot of it at one point in time. Oh, many a year ago. I don't know how you get on down there anymore. We'll go over here and look at the dam first, if we can. And no, we'll have to walk to do that. So maybe another day on the dam. We're gonna head her on down here. Whoops, let's be careful. this is awful steep. Somebody needs to do something about that turn here. Now this is, other than the road here has been here a long time. Now, actually started out as a trail back around, oh, even back when DeSoto came through in the 1500s. And then the Indians, well, Native Americans, they used it as a main trail, and then as a white man came, he used it. And that. They've made a lot of changes here. This was all done the way it is as you're seeing it now. In 2018 it was. And we're gonna park on over here and I'll show you a little bit about it. Back when me and James used to come here, this was all wild. And like I say, they did all this back in 2018. And they went around naming the trails. No trails here been here ever since, here again, Native Americans were in this area. It ain't like they put them in. But they did put up some gates and other stuff, keep people from going where we used to be able to go by vehicle. But let me get out. Let's take a gander of it. It's a beautiful morning. Now I got to make sure I got my sniffle cloth, you know. Nose wanting to run a little bit today, it is. Okay, y'all unbuckle. Be good. Stay close together. Because we're going to take a walk in the wilderness too, we are. Well, y'all, as you can see, we're out here. It's about, 9:30 in the morning. On a beautiful Monday, February the 8th. Like I say, this whole area right in here where they graded off this parking lot, put in some rocks and stuff. This was all put in 2018. And they made the whole area here, and this is oh Lord, I don't know how many acres, it's huge. Into one of those forever wild land trusts they did. And they call it the John B. Scott Forever Wild Trail, dedicated March 15th, 2018. I'll show it. See? Y'all can see it right there. And they got the John B. Scott Forever Wild Trail. It's a 4.7 mile loop trail. It starts on the north end of Gold Mine Road parking lot, which is where we are now, and goes south along Yates Lake past Kudzu Bluff, and then down the old double bridges Ferry Road switchback. Yeah, me and my son have walked what they're now calling a trail. It used to be, the whole length of it used to be Gold Mine Road. And we're going to talk some about that, because they don't mention much about the history of this and all of that. Then they got over here the historic Cherokee Bluffs Dam Railroad Trail. Now I searched old maps, all the way back to before Alabama was a state in this area. And I can see the Indian trails, but I'll be darned if I can see a railroad up here. Never could. But maybe so at one time. They say here the railroad was built in 1923 solely for the construction of Martin Dam by Alabama Power Company. So I guess, yeah. And that's probably over by the dam, because Cherokee Bluffs is over by the dam. We'll walk over that way here in a bit, maybe, if the old GoPro will hold together, the battery will stay up. But like I say, when me and my son used to come here and that, we used to go all through this area and even north of it, up where now the lake's at, up in the ridges, hollers, and they're not mountains like you got out in the Rockies or Adirondacks or even the higher Appalachian mountains up in the Carolinas and such. But to us, southern Alabamians, there are mountains. We're proud just to have them. You know, some are like elevations 500, 700, 800 feet and such, you know. Nothing all that majestic. But you see this yellow line right here? See, we're right here. And then you had right here that you used to be able to drive down by the river. And then right about here was where the old ferry was. Yeah. There was a ferry here, of course. That was a really, really long time ago. But this whole area, as well as to the north, was, you may not know it, gold country. Oh yeah, real like gold. Yep, sure was. Most Alabamians don't even know there was a gold rush in Alabama. It was before that famous one. You know, the one where they sing about the 49ers. Yeah, back in 1830 it was. All throughout this area and to the north. There were piles of gold mines, producing ones there were. In fact, many of the best producing mines are now under the waters of Lake Martin, which is up yonder way. Yep. Buried under hundreds of feet of water now they are. Now, all along Gold Mine Road, if you know where they were, and that was what me and James did. We started out when, I think James was, let's see, he was about 8. James liked to do stuff like that, especially if it was monetarily motivated. And of course we all know gold's a value. But he wanted to find them gold mines, those old ones. So I got a bunch of maps out of the University of Alabama Historical Archives. I got some gold claims, old ones, from Geological Society. And we can't, that's before GPS, folks, before the much internet. And we came on out here, and over the course of probably 5 years or more, searching all over here, we found every darn one of those old mines. We got pictures of some of them. We sure do. In fact, I'm not all that far from several. And that, I don't know if I'll ever show any of them off on video, because as soon as you do, then people will come and mess it up for everyone. So I might just leave them fade away into history. I'll see if I can dig up those old pictures. You can see some cypress trees right here. You see their air roots sticking up. You see them right here? Yep. They stick up like that. You gotta watch not to trip over them. But you don't need to be cutting them off. It'll kill the cypress tree. See how they're thicker at the bottom? And that, in many years, cypress trees have what look like needles, but they're a deciduous tree. And some years in the winter they don't drop their needles, but whew, as y'all know, it's been really frigid in the deep south this year. And they've been dropping them. But I'm glad they made it this nice place. Maybe more people will come and enjoy it. But like I say, back when me and James were here, we never saw nobody but us. Now, come deer hunting season, you had to stay out of here unless you were, look like a big orange spaceman, or you might get mistaken for a deer. And we used to drive right down this road. Yeah, and this was Gold Mine Road right here. This is where ran along the river. Now they put up this here fancy gate where you can't drive through it no more. Well, I guess only the state can. Had to check, make sure I had my cell phone with me, just in case the old man trips or something. You can see the old Tallapoosa River out there. Yeah, she's up. Because of the rain. And because Martin Dam is generating power. It's just hard to believe. That dam been generating power. And it's part of the electrification of the South. Starting back in 1926. Wow. Going on 95 years ago. Pretty soon they'll be having a party up there on its centennial in another 4 years. There's a lot of native rhododendron down here. Right here is some Alabama river cane. It's a species of bamboo or cane. It don't get very tall, very big around. That's about as big as it gets, maybe a little bigger. Native American, they used to make arrow shafts out of it, or so I'm told. Well, I see they have done some work putting in some trails right there. I mean, the trail was already there, but they have done a little bit of shoveling, stoning. That's nice. But it's just so nice to come out here. Listen to that wind. And you can hear the call of a crow way out in the distance. Now I just got y'all tagging along. Got my other hand in my pocket. Cause I think it's all about 39 right now. That wind blowing in my face. And maybe you can see up there the bluff way up on high. Kudzu Bluff. Oh, Papa Tom, he way down from that. But I've been up there. Yes, I have. I've walked that whole bluff line on top and the base many a time I have. We'll just leave it at that, okay? Good thing I brought me one of those there high class hankies with me, aka a couple of paper towels, because I knew my old nose would start running. And that. Woo, look at that sun reflecting off that river. Now if that ain't beautiful, I don't know what is. And this air is so crisp and fresh. Oh my. You just can't ask for no better than this. Yeah, we're heading on up here to where the old ferry used to go across. Back in the 1830s to about 1849, when people decided to stop gold mining here, not because gold ran out, but because they heard of the richness of the gold in California. They did. They heard you could just pick up chunks of gold laying on top of the ground. So the miners here packed it up and headed on up to or West California, not up. You can see that bluff right there. Isn't that massive? And most of the stone here if you're not familiar with the area and the geology of it, is granite and quartz. And the gold mine here that was being done, the majority of it back during Alabama's gold rush, which I might add was the third one for our nation. The first was actually up in the Carolinas, where my parents had a place once they retired. The second was in northwest Georgia, primarily in a place called Dahlonega, which is on the Piedmont Plateau, the northeast end of it. And then all along the Piedmont Plateau down here, down to Tallahassee. And you can still find gold here, plenty of it, but it ain't easy. And it wasn't easy for the men, the women, and the children that mined it back from 1830 to 1849. Hard rock mining is you pick the rock with hand picks, you blast it, you tote it out, and you put it in what they call stamp mills or hammer mills. And these mills got great big pilings that come down, crush the stone, and that into fine pieces, and finally into dust, and then they extract the gold from it. It was hard work. And something I learned, me and James, in found me a hickory nut. Look at that. Yeah, I didn't bring a bag. I should have. Shouldn't have. Well, something that kept them going, as I've spoken about before, and that was beans. Because not only when we found some of the mines, we also found what they left behind. Their garbage pits, which were primarily filled up with tin cans, which come to find out were beans. Lots of beans. Well, here we are. And of course, like always, got some graffiti on it now. But this was the west side of where the ferry was. Of course, that's before the bridge was put in. Oh, sometime I think in the 30s, or no, the 20s, when the dam was being constructed, they put the bridge in where that Highway 50 that we came in on crosses over the river. But if you wanted to get across from probably the 1800 to 1920s, you had to come here. Of course, wasn't no driving no vehicles. It was, you know, on horseback, foot, or your wagons. Mostly, you know, pulled by mules. And they'd put you on the ferry here and pull you across to the other side. And over there somewhere is the other landing. If I remember correctly, it's right over yonder. But it's been ages since I've been over there. And that. So yep. That's the west side. And that's the ferry tower of the old Bridges Ferry right there. Yeah, and you can see fools shot at it with rifles. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with people, and I've never understood the allure to shoot something like that with my rifle. I'd be more prone to shoot the person that was shooting it with their rifle with my rifle. I'm just saying. Of course, I just wing them, make them smart. But yeah, me and my son used to come here and walk all over this area. And over time, like I said, we found every last mine we did, marked it on a map. And from time to time we found us, oh, some good gold. Yeah, he used to really get into that. And then when he got to be, you know, where he could drive, you know, 15 and beyond, he wasn't too much into the camping, adventure part of it anymore. You know how that goes. We were all that age one time too. And see, if you head on up this way, Gold Mine Road continues all the way up till it comes out back on Upper River Road, which is, you know, we came up, we drove up there from Tallapoosa to Kent. You can walk it all the way from here if you got a right mind, some strong legs and all of that. And I've done it. James and I have done it. We've camped up here. We've been in traditional mines. You know, it looked like a mine. Some of the mines fooled us. We looked for them forever thinking they'd be, you know, like a mine, which you see with an opening inside of a hill or mountain. And they were actually pit mines. We found them too. Mostly by old Mr. Tom stumbled through their garbage pit, and when the can started creaking under my feet, I knew we'd found it. Yeah, but there's still gold to be had up here. And that, you gotta look for that black sand. And I get a kick out of some people. Back, even when me and James were doing it, they'd be scraping up this here little old brown sand and panning it. Gold ain't there, folks. Any gold that was there was all the way down at bedrock. You gotta do some digging to get the gold. Surely you do. As me and James found out. But you can see all the quartz and the gravel here. Of course, that's exactly what you want to see in a gold rich area. You want to see plenty of that quartz. That's an indicator, or so I learned. And so I found we see a lot of this here, what's called rose quartz. It's beautiful, don't you think? And you polish it up, makes for some mighty fine stones when you tumble it. Now my daughter used to come up here with me some too, Ashley, and she'd like to read, and she'd just spend most of her day looking for these beautiful pieces of quartz. I was hoping while Davey was still young, you know, he's my grandson, I'd be able to take him up here some for an adventure, expeditions, camping. Now, I'm not sure I'll ever get a chance to do much of that with him. Maybe, who knows? Only time will tell. But there's a lot of good fishing in this river, as well as the lakes. I mean, this body of water here, I mean, the lake channel runs through it, but this is what's called a Yates Reservoir or Yates Lake. And it is well stocked with striped bass, largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, blue channel cat, yellow cat, mud cats, you know, catfish. And there's all kinds of wildlife here. Yeah. But maybe this spring, late spring, early summer, before it gets too darn hot, I can come back here or come to the other end of it and hike on down through here. Show you how the different seasons look. But you can see we got some steep ridges and that here in Alabama too. And the further we go north, the steeper and the higher they get. They surely do. You can see some of it right over there. It just starts to get higher in elevation the more north you go. Whew, had to blow the old snozzola there again. I hope y'all are enjoying this. I am. I know it's a little dreary today. Not a lot of foliage left, and we're just walking along, getting some exercise, clearing out the cobwebs. I hope you have a place similar wherever you live that you can come to like this. Spend some time, walk along a river with some ancient history. I mean, it's hard to think or believe that right where my feet are now is DeSoto. Yep, Hernandez de Soto. He rode along here with his man. I think it was 1504. Don't hold me to the exact year. Nope. Old Mr. Tom's mind and memory ain't what it used to be. There was a time when I had a sharp one. I'd like to, before I leave this earth, hike along those bluffs again. So we'll relive some of my past and some of the memories I had with James and my daughter Ashley. Yep, it's rough going up there though, as you might imagine. You know, I believe in miracles. I'm a man of faith. You never know, we could be walking up here today, look down and find a fine nugget of gold. That's always what James used to be on the lookout. I'm not sure if he saw anything when he was up here except the ground, because his eyes were focused on the ground. They were, unless I interrupted him and told him to look up and look at this or look at that. He was a trip. I used to get so excited. And we used to go up to North Georgia and that and do the same thing. Look for gold. But it got him out of the house. Got him off the video games. He didn't complain. He was all for it. And maybe he'll watch this video and he'll remember back to those days when he just used to be all smiles, wide-eyed, waiting to go. Couldn't wait. Be asking me many times during the week, Daddy, we still going? You gonna be off this weekend? There was a time or two I had to postpone things because of work, but I worked hard through the week. Didn't care how many hours I had to work to try to free up my weekends, if there was any possibility of it. But sometimes you just can't. But see, there'll be some people that'll watch this video, and that gets back to the topic, no sense of humor, and everything's got to be politically correct now. You know, I'm just not very PC orientated, and you know, people, you know, well, Mr. Tom, that was all Native American land. White man stole it. Well, you know, somebody calling me. Pardon me for a sec. Hey, Regan. What can I do for you? Hello? I'm way out here in the middle of the wilderness. I can't hear you. I'll call you back later. Well, that was Regan. You know, Sunboy Prepper. Well, I'm way out here. And that just showed you a cell cut out. There ain't much cell service up here. But I mean, people, they get so wound up. Yeah, it was Native American land. I admit that. And since I am part Native American, I understand that. And there's still parts of the land down in and around here. We have land that has been reverted back to the not only the Cherokee Nation, but the Creek Nation. And that. But then again, I say, I don't get into all that. What is, and what has been, has been. That's probably Regan again. Hold on. Hey, Regan. Hey, I'm way out here in the wilderness and may drop out. And I mean, I'm out here in the wilderness. Well, yeah, that was Regan. You know, Sunboy Prepper, call me. Of course, phone keeps dropping out because we up here in the middle of God's nowhere. And that. And you'll see some more of those big birds up ahead. Now, I'm thinking those are turkey buzzards. Yep. And they got a little boat landing here. Lord knows I put my John boat in there with my son and daughter many a time. I fish these waters. Good fishing too. What you might not know about Alabama, we got a lot of that good fishing. We got a lot of wild streams and creeks like that one right there. Now, I'm sure if we dug down far enough, we'd find some of that there yellow stones. The Native Americans, there's a legend that I was told, oh Lord, 30 years ago or more, that once they saw the interest the white man had in that there yellow rock, their chief of the time told them to go out and find all the yellow rock they could, pick it all up and bring it back. And as the legend goes, they either buried it or threw it in the river to keep the white man from finding it. The whole point being, so the white man get tired of looking for it and go away. Well, as history has shown, well, that didn't happen. That gets back to those are those times, and these are these times. We can't undo it. I mean, there's just no way. All we can do is go on from here and try to make things as best we can for everyone as we can. But now I'm walking up to where the dam's at. And if my legs hold out, and of course my breathing, I might be able to show you that dam. Oh, there's some native holly right there. Now this ain't like the holly I have growing at the home place. This is all natural native holly. You probably didn't even know we had native holly growing this far south in Alabama, did you? And then we got some yucca. Right here we do. Yeah, Native Americans used to take that, weave up baskets and all sorts of things with it. All along this here river were several smaller and some larger Native American camps and villages. Yeah. As well as the capital of the Creek Nation. Oh, about 10 miles south of here on what's known as the Big Bend of the Tallapoosa River. Yep. That's where the Creek Nation's capital was. I've been there many times. It's on private property. And that, I guess I could get permission. I know the people who own it. Ain't much to see now. It's just flat land. Nothing but farmland now. This used to be the old boat launch right here. Back before we paved them and everything. Yeah. Here's where we came in on. Got to walk up this here hillside. And if we take a right here, we'll head on up to the dam. That's where we're heading right now. Now, back when they were constructing the dam, this was the road bed or railroad bed that was in use when the dam was being built. Now, I don't remember how close we can get. We'll give it all we got. Big old pines come down there. They should let people come and get that wood. But this being now designated a forever wild area, you're not allowed to pick plants, bother the animals, nothing. And I guess that's a good thing. Of course, I must say, back in the day, hardly anybody was up here anyway. And there you can see the powerhouse. Of course, here we're going under the new, well, I say it's new, Highway 50, Martin Dam Highway Bridge. Right there. Now, back in the 20s, there was another bridge. I'll show you the old pilings. You can see them out there in the distance. You see them? Right out yonder. And it was right there alongside that rock outcropping. Ooh, back in 2003, maybe 2004, old Mr. Tom died and drowned. I had my boat anchored just out in the middle of that channel there, and I didn't hear the warning horns going off for when the dam opened up some of the spillways. And what happens is the water level comes up so fast if you're anchored, the water comes up over the side of your boat. And that's exactly what happened. and started sinking my boat. And I cut one anchor, and then the boat came up rapidly on the one end and flipped over, and I was underneath the boat, all tangled up in the gas line, battery cables, fishing line, trot line, and whatever. Nope, no life jacket on. Somehow I was able to get out from under the boat and climb up on top of it. And of course, all my gear, coolers, tackle box, and everything was floating down the channel, heading down to Tallapoosa. And of course, old Mr. Tom was sitting up on top of the boat, heading back down that way too. But thankfully, the good Lord saved me. And some other boaters saw me eventually, about an hour and a half later, and towed my boat in and helped me get it turned back upright and that, and get it back on the trailer. I'd put in down at Yates Dam and that. I didn't put in up here. I was down at Yates Dam landing, and a lot of members from the Tallapoosa Bass Club came and helped me. Thank God for them. But with all the rain, see, this road gets unpassable. And I didn't wear boots and that. So, might be about as far as we're gonna make it today. Oh well, here's an animal trail. We'll just pretend we're a deer or a bobcat and see if we can't get around here some. Whew. I don't think we're gonna be able to make it on over to the dam. That's about as far as old Mr. Tom is willing to go. Yep. We'll have to come back another day and show you the dam. But yeah, the bridge, like I say, used to go over those river creek pilings. I mean, that was made from the river sand. And I've got aerial photographs of that bridge when it was still in place back in 1938 or 39, still being used. And I think it was somewhere in the 40s, 50s, they put this bridge in. Of course, it's been replaced, I think, a time since then as well. But yeah, that used to be the way you go across. It was curved, and then you go along that ridge line on the other bank and hook back up with the road. And that, it's just a little 2-lane highway, you know. Barely get 2 wagons across that bridge. Nowadays, modern vehicles, it'd be scary because the roads and the bridges were not that wide back then. Whew. I already done got my feet wet because I just got my moccasins on, you know, my slip-on moccasins. Oh, and like always, I found some stickers. Well, let's head her on back to the car. Old Mr. Tom getting a little bit winded. And that. I ain't seen no gold yet. You never know if you're looking down at the right time. That sunshine shining on it. James, he found him a piece of quartz years back with a nice paste streak of gold going through it. Not sure if he still has it. Oops, almost fell. Oh, okay. We're out here more back to civilization. Well, about as civilized as it gets way up here. And there's a car coming. We ain't all alone. You know, that may be a good thing. It may not be. Woo, that wind's starting to blow heavy now. Right in my face. Coming right off top of those bluffs. Down through this valley. I'm having to put my head down and lean into it. And like always, when you're way out here in some of these here distant rural areas, you got to be careful who you come up on. And that, you know, there are people who will try to do bad things. But I did remember to stick that can of whoop butt in my jacket before I left the house. I surely did. I hope y'all are all enjoying the walk today. Enjoying the ramblings of an old country boy. Yeah, country boy engineer, that is. Yeah, and my retirement may not be all I want it to be, but Lord knows it could be a whole lot worse. Now I wonder, this yahoo went down here and just turned around. Howdy, sir. Good, good. There's a lot of sweet gum balls on the road. I used to hate sweet gums, and then I finally learned you can tap a sweet gum just like you tap a maple tree in the spring, and you can make yourself some fine syrup. You can. I'm sure it's nowhere near as tasty as that pure maple syrup, you know, the real deal. And like up northeast in Canada, you know, Maine, New Hampshire, and all them places. Well, I can see the focus. So we about back to where this little journey all started today. Well, at least once we got out on foot. I know many of y'all are probably getting a little bit weary than that. And that wind's really picked up. I mean, it was brisk when I started, but it's just more brisk now. So I think we're gonna call the hike I think I got my heart rate going pretty good. Because I just walk. Well, I got a pretty good pace for an old man. Whew. Plus, I'm pretty chilled right now. Oh. But I know my lungs are cleared out because, well, I could smell that car real strong. Especially when he was upwind of me. Well, let's get on back in the Focus. Hopefully, the old gal will crank up and we can get heated up some. Okay? I'm sure y'all ready to. Plus, we got lunch. Okay? Gotta get the keys, so y'all hold on. Whew. Well, y'all, we're back in the Focus. Warm up a little bit. It's chilly out there, and that wind was getting on up. I had to blow my nose. Plus, it's time for a little water break. You know, some of that fine Sam's Choice purified water I brought along for you and me and all of us. And that. And I brought along bag lunches. One for me and one for all of y'all. And what do we got? Well, got some green olives. Hope y'all don't mind. Got serviettes, aka paper towels. Got some Fritos for everybody. Now you don't get much. I mean, I'm running out of Fritos. And we got a bologna, onion with American cheese and mustard on popo plain white bread sandwich, one each, okay? So I hope y'all are happy. So come on, let's enjoy our little lunch and snack, and once we've ate, we'll come on back and head it on out of here. Okay? Well, y'all, I hope you enjoyed your little brown bag lunch there with the bologna, onion, and American cheese with mustard sandwich, a little bit of Fritos, and of course those green olives. I apologize I didn't have no sweets with us. A little bit slim on those at the moment. And I hope you enjoyed our little hike we took along a historic trail there. Like I said, it just astounds me that Ferdinando or Hernando, not sure which, here again memory's failing me, De Soto came right down along this river, right where the old Focus is driving right now, in 1504 I believe. Him and his conquistadors, yeah, they explored this whole area. Of course they were looking for gold, but the Indians or Native Americans now kept it to themselves, or for the moment they did. But as I also told you, this became the third gold rush in America, so it didn't last forever. White man found the gold, but there's still a lot of gold here. But like I say, it's a whole lot of hard work. Now, I've done it, my son's done it, he knows. A lot of digging, a lot of shoveling, a lot of panning and sluicing. I mean, we have come up here and eked out an ounce or 2 ounces on occasion. Of course, that's back when you could. Now, you get caught mining gold on Alabama Forever land, you're going to be doing state time. Bear that in mind, so don't be doing it. Because I know people are saying right now, well, gold, $1,800 an ounce. Yeah. Well, if that's worth you going to prison for, well, that's you. It ain't worth me going to prison. And then the rest of the land up here is private property. And like I'm going to tell you, you need to be asking before you get on people's private property, because you know they're just bad to shoot you up here and down where I'm at. You come on my place uninvited, you might be apt to get shot too. And we crossing across the Highway 50 bridge. You know, we were under that thing just not too long ago. So we heading back a different way. Now I only got 40% battery on this GoPro. So, and it don't have where you can change out batteries, folks. Nope. It's got an internal battery. That's one thing I really don't like about it, but hey, I ain't complaining. It's been a darn fine camera. I think it's done some darn fine videos. And I can't thank my daughter Ashley and my grandson Davey enough for giving it to me for Christmas 2 years ago. I liked it so much I got another one brand new in a box for backup. Rather than getting the brand new GoPro, I just stayed with what I knew. Plus it's darn cheaper. So you can see we starting to climb up out of this river valley. Old Focus is struggling because it's steep. Come on, baby, you can do it. You can see the rising up there, Folky. Keep trucking. You can do it. You can do it. You can. Oh yeah. You made it out, baby. You're a good car. Now, back in her younger days, Trixie'd come along for these rides. And she still would, but she gets confused. Now, another thing I noticed in those comments on the last video, you can see, you know, my little Trixie circling and sort of standing there. And that brings up concern from all of y'all. I understand that, I surely do. But you got to remember, Trixie's way on up there in age now. In human years, when I looked it up, she'd be in her early 90s. And she is blind, folks. That's a fact. And that's what part of that's about. Of course, some of you said, you know, that circling may be because she has a urinary tract infection. No. And she's not in pain. I know when I pet her there on her backside, you know, she gets grumpy. She's always been that way. Some cats just don't like you petting their poo-poo. Trixie's one of those. She ain't ever been big on it. And she lets me know about it. She's always been that way. But another thing she suffers from, and this is, you know, especially with senior cats, is what's known as CDS. And that's cognitive dysfunction syndrome. Yeah, sure is. And she gets confused, don't know where she's at. But see, what you don't see on camera is you don't see me picking up that little bundle of fur that's been my best friend for these nearly 18 years, and toting her in with me to my big leather chair where I do my video editing, where I eat at a lot of times, and where I watch YouTube. You don't see me carrying her to when I lay down on the couch at night to place her on my chest and hold her till she falls asleep. I mean, she slept on top of me all her entire life. And that. Woo! Somebody putting in a lot of fence over there on the right. That's darn right. Nice looking. And expensive too. And you see this road just be weaving all around. It's rather curvy. We up here on the top of the ridge line. We're heading due east, we are. But anyway, back to Trixie. And yeah, Trixie's got problems. And she is going into the vet for a checkup. And that just, you know, to make sure. But the one thing I fear most of all excuse me, is when you bring a kitty in that's old as tricks, they start talking about putting them down. About it, you know, it's better for them. It's more convenient. I got to leave out there on the windshield trying to take a ride with us. And I've heard that come up before. And as long as little Trixie's not in pain, that just ain't gonna happen. I mean, she gets the best of food. Whether y'all send it or whether I'm buying it, it's always there for her. And I make puree for her. I make gravy for her. She gets vitamins, dewormer, herbal. She gets it all. She does not go without. And I carry her to her litter box, place her in it. I clean up after her when she has accidents. I don't complain. Because like I said in earlier videos, all the days that I worked, every time I left home, she followed me to that front door. And she'd sit down right there. And every night, or early morning, or late morning for that matter, when I'd return home, I'd open that door and there she'd be. Either sitting up staring at that door or curled up right there just outside of the swing of the door. As soon as I opened up, that would be the first face I would see. Would be Trixie. Yep. Every day she was always there. And you know, towards closer to my retirement, I thought, you know, one day that little furry friend of mine won't be there. But as long as she's not crying or whining in pain, other than when I pat her poo-poo, she don't like that, then I'm gonna keep her with me. And I mean, even if I gotta buy pain medication for her, and that alleviates her pain, and that way she's not suffering, I'll do that too. I mean, my God, we don't put down our elders yet, do we? I've never understood why people put down their older pets. I mean, some say, yeah, they're suffering, they're in pain, and I understand that, but Lord, I've known far too many people put their pets down when they become an inconvenience. And then I always think, well, would you put your grandma down, your great-grandma? I mean, come on now. But yep, as long as she ain't in pain, as long as I can pick her up and she's purring, then I'm good. And like I say, you don't see that on camera. There's just no sense showing it to you. That's between me and that little ball of fur that's loved me unconditionally all my life, and all hers. And I can't say that about any human being, except maybe my children, my grandson. And there've been times, you know how kids are, you know, they can get to where they think they don't love you no more, at least for a little while, you know. But they always remember who was there for them, or at least my children have. Maybe I'm just blessed. I hope you've been blessed too, by your children and your grandchildren. There's some more of that fine looking fence. Of course, it's for sale. 12 acres plus or minus, folks. Oh, I'm sorry. Alabama's all full. I heard there was room over in Georgia and Mississippi. That's probably already sold. But last I heard, we was plumb filled up here in Alabama. I mean, my Lord, we're up to 4.9 million people. 2010, we were only just under 3 million, 2.9. Where'd the other 2 million come from? Well, the automotive industry has really expanded in our state. They say we're in the new automotive alley. They do. Just look it up. We got manufacturing plants for Hyundai, Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, Hyundai, and Kia. Well, Kia's just across the line in Georgia, but we got a pile of suppliers that supply that plant too. Well, you just can't have enough portable storage units. You know what? I have one of those, and I need to get rid of that thing. Because here's my thought. When you got so much stuff, you got to have a storage building that you pay rent on. You just might have too much stuff. It's just my thoughts. And I'm getting rid of mine this year. Now granted, a lot of it's my children's, so they got to do something with it. And like always, we out in here in the middle of God's nowhere, and there's a Dollar General store. You know, I think they just come up wild now. You don't even got to plant a Dollar General seed anymore. All you got to do is wait for a bird to eat from a Dollar General store, and then fly over an area. I guess they poop out a Dollar General seed, and there you go. A Dollar General springs up. I mean, how else we want to get out here in the middle of nowhere? But we're going to go here south on Highway 49, State Highway. Headed on down to Real Town we are. We still got some battery in the GoPro, so maybe y'all will be with me a little while longer. Ooh, this is a nice road. Now the other one's a little bit rough. Highway 50. Been a while since we repaved that one. But you can see right here, this one's mighty fine. That's one thing I'll say about Alabama. We got some mighty fine state roads. For the most part, our county roads are mighty fine. Some areas way back out where they got to pipe the sunlight in, those can get a little bit rugged. But all places have that. I mean, people from other countries watch my videos, and that in some countries they say, y'all ain't got nothing to complain about in America. Y'all just don't know. And see, I know that's a fact. And that's what Americans need to do, is travel some. And I don't mean to the touristy spots either. I mean, head on over to Africa. Just pick a place. Not one of the tourist places. And go out and see real Africa. Oh yeah. You'll understand how good you got it. But there's places in Europe that ain't got it this good, and they let me know that. And there's places in Asia. You know, I've been to Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, Taiwan. I even went to China a couple of times. And yeah, they have mega cities. They have nice cities. Boy, they are crowded. But you get out in the rural parts, oh yeah, you can still see two-wheeled wagons or carts or whatever they are, and they pull them by themselves, or you know, they got some of them water buffaloes pulling still to this day. Now, it's been a whole long time, way back when I was a child, since I seen a actual horse-drawn wagon or plow actually, you know, being used. I don't mean a reenactment, I mean actually being used. most people don't know about Alabama was, once upon a time agriculture was king. Now it's forestry. Yep. They say there are more trees in Alabama now than there ever was when it was just wild land, and I can tell you that's a fact. In fact, I can show you aerial photography from the 30s all the way up to present day, and you can see how it progressed right around my little old town of Tallapoosa. But the sky is still looking beautiful. Bright blue with hazy, wispy clouds. I guess by late this evening, early tomorrow morning, that will not be the case. And as luck would have it, the wind would sort of calm down as soon as old Mr. Tom got back in the car with all of y'all. There's somebody that getting them some sheds. Way out here again, middle of nowhere, there's a 5G cell tower. Feel bad for that little old poke house there. They living right under it. Their hair probably stands on end if I had to guess. Of course, ain't no cell tower anywhere near me, 5 miles away. That's why my cell phone service is so bad. People will call me and say you didn't answer. Well, truth being, it did never ring. Then I can be talking to somebody and poof, they go away. Just like today, we were so far out. There in the wilds below the dam there, wasn't no cell phone service right where we were. Well, there was a little bit, just a sketch. When I looked at the bars on my phone, it wasn't showing any. And then I kept dropping Reagan's call until me and him had to give up. I'll just have to talk to him later, I will. But with that sunshine beating down on you through the windshield there, it's got the car all toasty. I've got the fan down as low as it'll go. Woo! He's wanting to play chicken, wasn't he? Well, he saw I wasn't going to give much. We're about to come on down here to Saugahatchee Creek. Me and my son James, we've back in the day, you can't run a motor and get this far up, but you can take poles, cut poles, and push up the old John boat poles up this way. It comes out down there in what Tallapoosa River, which now it comes out in Yates Lake, where we were at. We're about to cross over right now. Yep, here it is, Saugahatchee. Woo, spent many a day fishing on that baby. I need to come up here and dip a line come early spring. Get me some of them brim and shell cracker. Think about beginning of April, if I remember correctly. And you can see off to the left where, they cut down the pines, and you go, well, that looks terrible now. And what you can't see is all the little pines that have been replanted in there. And within a few years, they'll be up as high as me or higher. And so the cycle continues. It's called a sustainable forestry, folks. Of course, we old baby boomers, we're to blame for everything. We destroyed the climate. We've destroyed everything. Nobody gives us credit that, they wouldn't even be alive now if it wasn't for us. All the technological advancements, agricultural, industrial, engineering, scientific. The 30-year-olds and younger, they just think, you know, it all comes out of the computer and the internet. They don't think about how it got in there in the first place. I would know. I got stuff in there from back when I was in my profession. I even got some patents. And that's bona fide patent. Of course, they're co-owned by the companies I work for. That's just the way that all goes. Well, we coming into the real town now. We ain't all that far from Tallapoosa. Probably about 5 miles. We got to slow her down here a little bit. Let in some of this here fresh air. That sun heating up this car so much with this heavy jacket, I had to turn the heat off. I hope all of y'all are comfortable. Now there's all kinds of Alabama historical signs along the highways. And if one day, if you'd like Mr. Tom to take you riding and view a bunch of them and read them to you, I can do that. Now that's Real Town High School right over there. Well, Real Town Elementary right there, and then the high school's on up the road a bit. And as you can see, school's in session here. Yep, we ain't doing the online thing no more. Not in Alabama. Well, some schools are. Right around here in my neck of the woods, Real Town, Tallapoosa, Electric, and all the communities, they back to school, for better or for worse. I hope you all can still hear me pretty good, since it's got that window cracked a little bit. But it's getting stuffy in the car. You know, you get 10 people stuffed in this little Focus, that's a whole lot of body heat. Well, here we are, Macedonia Road. We're going to take a right, we are. And this will take us on back, coming in the back way, to the old home place, it will. If we would have continued on, we would have went on up there and connected up 14, where my cell tower's at, took a right and went on by Superfoods. I don't want to go that way because I might be tempted to go in Superfoods. I need to stay out of places, don't y'all agree? It's not going to be long now. Spring will have sprung. That's another thing. People all hyping up this here Arctic blast. Woo, it's going to come this far south. We're going to wipe out their fruit trees. Yeah, and I ain't even going to mention all the YouTube channels hyping that stuff up. We'll just leave their names out of it. But I looked at my 10-day forecast all the way out. Yeah, next Thursday we're supposed to get down to 26. But we're supposed to be up low 50s during the daytime. That ain't too much of an Arctic blast. But then, out of curiosity, I looked up their forecast. Shoot, there's one further south of me that was all hyping it up last night. And they're supposed to be back up in the 70s, mid 60s, high 60s, and low 70s next week. But you gotta hype up stuff to keep your viewers entertained. That's a darn nice house over there. Y'all don't know it, but there was a tornado come through here several years back, right where that new house was built. If you notice, you saw some trees chopped off on the tops. You had to be looking quick though. 'Cause notice in some of these hardwood trees, there's some green growing. You know, vines hanging on. Yep, that's what we call American greenbrier. It's a vine. It's actually edible, but you want to get the young shoots and leaves. You can boil down the more mature leaves, but they're awful chewy and fibrous. There's some more Alabama cane right there. A little bit of bamboo, hard to see, it's all grown up. Sort of like mine. But mine has become a bird sanctuary. And I have one of you viewers out there to thank for that. You know who you are. And as you can see, we're heading on down from foothills. Sort of kind of up and down. It ain't gonna be long. We're gonna be down on the ridge on the Piedmont Plateau. Well, we're still on the Piedmont Plateau where old Mr. Tom lives. It ain't gonna be long now, so we might get lucky and the GoPro hang in there till we get in the drive. We just have to see. Of course, knowing my luck, it'll cut out just between here and there somewhere. Now looking back, I wish I had bought this farm on the left where you see that great farmhouse. It's a nice place. And when him and his wife gave up farming and moved down to Florida, of course that was their mother-in-law's place right there on the right. The man who owned that, he tried really hard to get me and the wife to buy it. But the wife wasn't into it too much. And she would have done it if I would have really forced the issue. But I just couldn't do it. I knew she wasn't going to be happy being a farm wife. She was too much into, you know, she was too much into all the things going on in Tallahassee and Montgomery, you know, state capital. Lord, you know she was. She dragged me to the governor's ball twice. Can you imagine going and dancing at the governor's ball? That wasn't on Mr. Tom's thing. Now, if it wouldn't have been for Chris, you wouldn't have caught me dead there. It's amazing what you'll do for the love of your lady. Or I hope it's amazing that you would. Well, here we go, descending down even further. Y'all have seen all this before. One day I'm going to take you down this road right here off the right called Ice Plant Road, because that's a historic road too. Because once upon a time here in Tallahassee, we had an ice plant, you know, made blocks of ice, put in your ice box, it did. Now that being said, it's been closed forever. So, there's Mr. Charles' place. Yep, we're just right about there to the neighborhood. Well, I've really enjoyed my ride with all of y'all today, and I enjoyed our little hike back in history. Hope y'all learned something. I just briefly touched on, you know, different aspects of it. DeSoto and the Conquistadors. gold mining era of Alabama, which I guarantee you a whole lot of Alabamians don't even know about anymore. And once my generation's gone, that too will probably fade away into history. Yep, there's the old home place. So y'all, wait till we get on out before you unbuckle, okay? Here we are, back home again. Home again, home again. I'm gonna get out and check the mail, okay? Y'all wait in the car. As you can see, we sat down on the front steps. Now enjoy a little bit of sunshine with y'all. Like I said, I do hope you enjoyed the countryside ride, seeing part of Alabama. Let you know that, you know, it just ain't all flat. We got our ridges, we got our foothills, and we got, you know, the start of the mountains and ridges further we go north. And I hope you enjoyed the walk we took, as well as that fantastic brown bag lunch. I might add, was tasty. I mean, I do make a vicious bologna sandwich, and I did share my Fritos and my green olives with you. Even took a bottle of water out of my preps, I did, just so everybody could have one. And I apologize for not bringing no sweets along. I don't eat many of them. In fact, I had a viewer send me some cookies for Christmas. They were Cheryl's cookies. Now, I'm trying to think offhand who sent me those. Right now it escapes me, but if she's watching, she'll know. Those cookies right there are darn outright addictive. They're these buttercream cookies. You should look them up, Cheryl's cookies. If there are cookies in heavens, which I'm sure there are cookies in heaven, Cheryl's will be one of them. Woo, those things. I've never had a cookie that tasted so good. Yep, they're darn right addictive. I gotta just eat one every once in a while, or Mr. Tom will be gaining far too much weight. But we're back at the old home place. Now I gotta check up on Trixie, which when I left she was asleep on the couch in the den, right where I lay my head. And Gracie was asleep in her basket on her favorite rug. And look who showed up, Cleo. Cleo, did you see Papa come home? Did you? Did you see Papa come home? You all dusty again. You've been under Miss Davis's shed, ain't you? Yep. You heard the focus and all the people show up, didn't you? Yep. You're gonna get cleaned up now. You dusty girl. And I'm sure old Spook will be around in a minute. And then Speedy. She ain't gonna come right up close. Not unless she's hungry. And I'm sure out there somewhere is old Mr. Gray. Oh yeah, I see him way on out there. He just walked across the Davises' sheds there. And I'm sure Magoo and Elrod are out catting around somewhere as well. It's turned out to be a beautiful day, as y'all can see. And we up in the 50s now. Of course, you might not realize it, but we left at 9, and it's past noon now. And I didn't shut the camera down except when I was trying to talk to Regan there. You know, Southern Boy Prepper. But we just couldn't stay connected. I'll have to give him a call, or maybe he'll give me a call tonight. Just have to wait to see, but never no telling whether I'll have cell service when he calls or not. It's just the way of things living way out here in rural, deep south Alabama. I don't mind. I'll take it any day to going back to the big city. You know, my wife, Chris, she wanted to go back to D.C. I just never could get my mind around doing that. Been there, done that. D.C., New York City, Atlanta, yep, El Paso. See there? See way out there? There's Mr. Gray. walking up. He's heading on back in the hedges there. He heard me talking. But I got his girlfriend right down here cleaning up at my feet. See, there's Cleo right there at my feet. Cleaning up, getting beautiful, aren't you, Cleo? Whew. So I've rambled enough for one old little old country engineer for one day. I hope I didn't upset anybody. If I did, grow up. Find your big boy, big girl panties or underwear, thongs or whatever you wear. Just understand, if we all had a sense of humor anymore, we all had respect for each other and people's beliefs and opinions, this world will be a better place. And I hope one day when people learn their lesson from all this, it will be a better place. And I hope to see that before I pass. But y'all, I want to say this. I want y'all to take care out there. Stay safe. And may God bless you, your friends and family and loved ones. To old Mr. Tom. Tracy. Not Tracy. Trixie. God, I'm getting old. Gracie. Cleo. Spooky Speedy. Sometimes Magoo and Elrod. And eventually, Mr. Gray. See y'all on the next video. Goodbye for now. Later on. Cleo, get all cleaned up for your boyfriend. And for Papa, okay? You just lay underneath that shit. Well, I don't know what's the draw of the shed. I got a perfectly good shop building here that y'all can get into. It just ain't right, is it? Got an old cold concrete floor. Ain't got a nice dirt floor you can all waller in, does it? Must not. They all love underneath Miss Davis's shed. I hope she don't mind. Well, Spooky and Speedy, they hang out here. They got their barn. and they love it. Oh.